Hello and welcome to Afghanistan News Today. Today is Monday, 10th of February 2025. Afghanistan's key developments in politics, economy, culture, and society. Political landscape. Afghanistan has seen significant political shifts in recent years. Since the Taliban's return to power in August 2021, the country has faced major challenges in governance, human rights, and international relations. The Taliban has continued to consolidate control, albeit amid growing concerns over human rights, particularly regarding women's freedoms and access to education. Taliban's governance and international relations. The Taliban's interim government has faced substantial international scrutiny. While some countries have offered humanitarian aid, the recognition of the Taliban government remains a contentious issue. Diplomatic ties are primarily driven by humanitarian concerns, with countries like Pakistan and China engaging in trade talks, but the West largely remains cautious. Human rights and women's rights. One of the most critical concerns remains the status of women in Afghanistan. Since the Taliban's return, many women have been banned from secondary education and restricted from working in many sectors. Protests for women's rights continue, despite the threat of violent crackdowns. Economic situation. Afghanistan's economy is in dire straits, heavily impacted by both the political crisis and the withdrawal of international aid. Sanctions and economic isolation. International sanctions on the Taliban-led government have exacerbated Afghanistan's economic collapse. Without access to foreign reserves and international financial institutions, the country's banking system remains paralyzed. Most Afghans live in poverty, with inflation skyrocketing, particularly in food and fuel sectors. Humanitarian aid and development assistance. Despite the economic isolation, Afghanistan continues to receive humanitarian assistance. The United Nations and other international bodies have provided emergency food and health aid, but long-term development remains uncertain. There is a significant reliance on foreign assistance for both food security and public services. Opium production and trade. Afghanistan has long been a major producer of opium. And while the Taliban claims to have cracked down on poppy cultivation, reports suggest that illegal production continues to thrive, providing funding for militant groups and criminal organizations. Cultural and social dynamics. Afghanistan's rich cultural heritage is at risk under the current regime, yet social movements and efforts to preserve Afghanistan's history continue. Education and cultural heritage. Education in Afghanistan has faced immense setbacks, particularly for girls. While some education programs for boys continue, girls' schools in many areas have been closed. This has led to growing concerns about the future of an entire generation of young people who are denied access to education. Preservation of Afghanistan's heritage. Afghanistan's cultural and historical sites, many of which were destroyed or damaged during past conflicts, are under further threat due to the current regime's strict interpretation of Islamic law. Efforts by local and international organizations aim to preserve Afghanistan's rich history, but these efforts face numerous challenges. Social issues and youth discontent. The youth of Afghanistan, especially in urban areas, have expressed frustration with the Taliban's policies. Despite the restrictions, there have been underground movements, particularly through social media, where young people call for greater freedoms and reforms. Conclusion: Afghanistan's political, economic, and social conditions remain unstable and unpredictable. The Taliban's governance, ongoing humanitarian crises, and deep social divisions are at the forefront of global concerns. As the international community grapples with how to engage with the Taliban regime, the Afghan people continue to face a harsh reality marked by poverty, limited freedom, and a lack of opportunity. The future remains uncertain, but the resilience of the Afghan people, particularly their youth and women, continues to shine through amid these challenges. Thanks for being with Afghanistan News Today. Till the next latest news, have a good time, goodbye.